Hi, welcome to Curriculum Night. I'm Allie Eidick Lilly. I teach advanced ELA, so that's reading and writing. So your students have me for 2 full periods. This is my 18th year of teaching here at Gross Middle School. So I actually started, this was my first job right out of college. So I love it here, obviously. So let's get started. So here is my contact information. You can find all of us on the website, and actually the upgraded website, you can just click on our names and all the stuff pops up and you can immediately access us through the website. Also, you can access my webpage, which is updated also through the website. It's kind of a one-stop shop if you go to the district website. All right, so let's talk about the fun stuff. Just some of the questions that I usually get every year is as far as, how much homework should I expect for, kind of be on the lookout for with my students. So the majority of your child's homework is for reading. I always say this to my students and they get a chuckle out of it, but that's really it. The majority of what they'll be working on at home is reading. So you should see, a book in their hand most nights. Basically Sunday through Friday. And the minimum, usually it's around 20 to 30 minutes for advanced reading, depending on how, quickly they run through it, but then also kind of the level of reading that we're doing. As the year goes on, the level, kind of ratchets up. So it gets, higher and higher as we get through the year. Other homework would consist of, possibly a few discussion questions that go along with the homework. These are then used for discussions the next day. And then anything that isn't finished in class that day. So if we're working on something, partner work or something like that, and, they have a question or two that they need to finish, then that might be something that you see at home. Homework for writing is going to be a little bit different because we work writer's workshop. So, we do the majority of the writing during class because this gives me the opportunity to work with students as they're writing. And then also with the wonders of technology, I can jump right into their essays as they're working and give them feedback, right as, they're here and I'm here. So it's great. So otherwise, there's very little writing for homework. They might have to finish some writing at home that they started in class, but a good chunk of it is done in class. As far as assessments, summative assessments, things like tests, quizzes, projects, tests and quizzes for each reading unit. Not tests, definitely quizzes for each reading unit, but not tests. Some of the units, for example, the unit on World War II Holocaust, that unit specifically, because it's lit circles, there's no tests because there's like 6 different books that we're reading. They have a project at the end of it instead. So, but there's definitely projects, throughout the year, and then there's a few tests, and then, reading quizzes as we go through each unit. And then obviously, as far as writing, essays are going to be the assessments. There'll be short writing assignments throughout the year for writing class. They might be having to turn in an introduction that I look over and grade, that kind of thing. So, but majority of writing, it's going to be essays. So let's go over the fun stuff. Curriculum highlights, as I mentioned, Holocaust unit. This is where students have a choice of what they would like to read. Obviously, I don't have all the books in the world, so I have students give me their top 3 choices. And in the last, I don't know, as long as I've been doing this, the last 12 years, I've been able to give students their first or second choice. So I really do aim to get their first choice, and then if not, the second choice. The next unit that we do, and actually these are flip-flop this year, Gothic literature unit will be what we start out with. So that's going to be a collection of short stories and poems, some Edgar Allan Poe stuff, poems, short stories, excerpts from longer works, for example, like Frankenstein. We're not reading the whole thing, and there's definitely parts that are not appropriate for middle schoolers. So, and some things that are a little dated. So we're just gonna read. It's just like I think it's like chapter 12 and 13 and part of 14. So totally, I've vetted that particular one, and they're good. The next unit we'll do is the parable unit. This is where we use The Pearl by John Steinbeck. Oh, forgot to mention Christmas Carol. Unabridged is also part of the Gothic literature unit. It's a shorter, both The Pearl and Christmas Carol are shorter. They're about 90 pages. We also use The Pearl with our writing unit, with our literary analysis unit. That's where we write about reading. We'll be using that as a part of that as well. Shakespeare. Last year we did Macbeth. We'll do Macbeth again this year, barring anything changes with COVID protocols. But we haven't been able to go to the Shakespeare Theater. We haven't. Obviously, with the pandemic, it's not something that's easy to do, not just for the school, but the theater themselves. I am in contact with their education department. I had asked last year if they would do something remotely, and they said they were trying, and they just never got around to it. So hopefully this year we might be able to do that. And if that's the case, then we will not do Macbeth, and we'll do whatever play that they put on. But again, we'll see. Romeo and Juliet. And then if we have time, we'll do another abridged Shakespeare play of student choice. And then Identity Unit. This is also student choice of two books, Chains or Forge by Laurie Halse Anderson. It's a part of a trilogy, but Forge is the second book, and you are actually able to read Forge without ever having to pick up Chains at all. So they have a choice in what they would like to read with that unit. Along with also the Shakespeare unit, we do an independent reading project because we do the play reading in class. We have parts and we read it together. I want my students to be reading outside of class as well. So that'll be where we do our independent book project. And so they will get to pick a book of their choice and they will read that. And then there'll be like a journal that goes along with that. And a presentation, Flipgrid kind of thing. Last unit of the year is the mystery unit, Hound of the Baskervilles. This is our highest Lexile, so it's at the end of the year. That's, our detective fiction. So, we'll learn all about detective stories. Each unit does contain various short stories, nonfiction, drama, or poetry that, either pertain to the year-long theme of heroes and or themes in the unit itself. As far as writing highlights, like I had mentioned much earlier, a writer's workshop. We have formal, informal writing assignments. The three that we'll focus on: realistic fiction, argumentative, and informational. The informational writing, as I'd mentioned, was literary analysis. We have digital writer's notebooks. And so a lot of our pre-writing activities before we start drafting our essays will be done in the digital writer's notebook. And then we have various peer and teacher conferences where we share our writing, we discuss what we did. I help them, work through things that they might be challenging, that they need help with. So that's writing in a nutshell. And that is it. If you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to reach out. It was good to present for you, not be able to see you, but at least you can see me. But like I said, it's going to be a great year, and I'm really excited.